to try and give you some thoughts on this comprehensively. So I'll just kind of restate the problem. So the problem is for the directionally challenged in a class,
Yes.
right? And I know you had a specific way of describing it for you, but I'll just kind of speak a little bit broadly.
Right.
So for one thing, most of the stuff we're doing in class, if we're doing it on the left side and you do it on the right side, it's good for you. It's healthy, good for you. To be doing it at all is good for you.
Yes.
Yes, we're trying to do it on the left side just now and you went the other way, but we're not performing a dance number. It doesn't matter if you're going the wrong direction ultimately. So starting there, it's probably fine that you're moving. So two, when you get the direction, which I think you were suggesting for you, a lot of times it's verbal, but for some people it's a visual. They see my right hand go up or whatever, or they read, now we lift the left leg on this move, and they get it switched, either mirrored or something.
Yeah.
It can really help there to just, when you hear the direction, take a breath, pause. Don't reflexively move, hear it, pause, and you might cycle through selecting the incorrect thing first, recognizing it, maybe having a laugh, and then selecting the correct thing, and then engaging in the movement. So you're just installing a bit of a pause, but the pause will likely help with getting the right motion right the first time. But more, it's about mediating the psychic response to the fluster or the point where worry usually happens, because I've done this my whole life. And so kind of like, well, I'm registering, I'm gonna take a breath, I'm gonna smile, I'm gonna enjoy this for a moment, and then I'll probably look silly because that's what happens, I get it wrong. And so you're putting a different lens on how you view it rather than trying to correct it. Third thing is, I'm talking to an adult here. This might be different, I was talking to a teenager, but to an adult. It might be healthy to start by saying, we're not gonna fix this. This is who you are. It would be like if you're left-handed, we try and make you right-handed now. Not that that's a good example, because you might not know which one I mean. But at this age, are you really gonna switch that? Or is that kind of an integral thing to who you are? My bet is it's kind of integral to who you are. That's not to say, could it be changed, whatever your age? Yeah, I guess we could probably do a deep dive and, go to a special place where you eat and drink in this place and all they do is work on that, I suppose. But chances are it's mostly who you are, it's integral, and it's bearable. You've lived your whole life like this. And so I would say that that's a healthy thing to consider. If it's true that it's kind of integral to who you are, it's just not who you wish you were. You wished you were shorter or taller or blonde hair or red hair or something, that you might have wished those things too, but okay, just this is who you are though. So then what we want to do is start to address, what is your relationship to that preference or expectation or frustration or state? Because that's the thing that we can address. And looking at it in a friendly way might help. Right? We were doing in class today the idea of the xiao yao yu, that meandering, that mosey, and that kind of has this hint at, we're not worried about direction. We're not, in fact, worried about destination. We're worried about how it is that we go. And the how in that particular lesson is carefree and present and a coordinated, all of me doing it. And that can be a healthy kind of adjunct practice for this particular issue. And in the larger sense, in sort of Tai Chi and Taoist kind of practices or meditation practices that I do, we're always talking about direction, not destination. It's just how I got there. So when I'm lost, if I did enjoy the mailboxes I went by and the view that I saw and the funny street name and my coffee while I was driving, I did get where I was going. I was trying to have a good day. I did, by the way, miss that appointment, and I do have to call somebody and apologize. Okay. And you more than likely have developed ways to manage that, just like a diabetic manages their diabetes as they grow up. And so you probably have funny little things that you say when you're late, or a way to refer to it, or an excuse that you use that feels sincere but also soothes things. Or you have a facility for rescheduling that other people don't have because you find yourself late or lost or something. And so you've probably developed, if I was talking to a younger kid, I'd talk about how to develop those tools for management. I'm presuming you have them, and maybe you'll find more too. But I think mostly it comes down to what's the relationship to that preference, like preferring that you got it right. The other thing to do, and this is more particular for like following somebody in dance or martial arts or something, is sometimes I'll face you, sometimes I'll be profile, sometimes I'll show you my back. And if you learn like that one really confuses me, or it takes me too long to interpret that one for the pace that I'm teaching, right? So I might learn to go slower there, that's on me. But in that case, you might say, this is what I'm listening and watching. Like, he's turned around, that doesn't work for me. This is a good chance for me to have a sip of water, or just watch this one, or take notes, or walk around to get behind me to see something like that. Rather than saying, I don't like this one, but trying to do it. Because now you're sort of in conflict with the manner of teaching, and you're engaging with your distaste for that frustration or relationship to it, which makes the whole thing not fun.
Right.
I know that I try and kind of play around with, do I say front or parking lot or east or 12 o'clock, because different people, they like, if I say 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, other people left, right is always confused. It's always a hiccup if I say left, right. It's just, and then it becomes a point of frustration, which of course we don't want, but I can't always know that either, especially with a group. So I try and mix it up, and like sometimes say step to the parking lot, sometimes step to our right, sometimes I'll say forward. I just try and help everybody hear it one way or another, and then I try and move around so that they can see things, but I can't really know what's perfect. And in a private lesson, it's a little easier because the student will say, oh, I don't like when you do that. Or can you say left or something? Oh, that's easy. Just you and I. Yeah, we'll just fix it right now. In terms of, the left, right, and getting it flipped, I mostly observe where you feel the upwelling of frustration, if that's the right word. That's probably kind of where it starts. It might flower into something else, but it probably feels as an irritation or frustration or hesitation or maybe anxiety, something.
Confusion, I would say also.
Yeah.
I would say confusion.
So then, like, starting to develop things that can soothe that particular quality, not just fix this experience, but soothe that quality. Or help that quality circulate and transmute, can be very helpful. And those would be other specific kind of exercises. But one would be like the rubbing of the kidneys. So that exercise that we do, that's like sort of specific to addressing that low-grade fear. So that's a few things to think about.
But I think, the thing